Hello, my name is Jeremy Hunt. This is the Myrtle Cottage Bee Garden in Balsall Heath, an inner city neighbourhood of Birmingham. 3 years ago this space was a car park, which has since become a garden of flowers, herbs and vegetables. It aims to be a sustainable garden, using recycled materials, diverting rainwater and creating its own compost. It is part of a larger project to regreen the area, and I would like to take you on a tour of our eco-neighbourhood. Located near the historic Moseley swimming baths and on the busiest bus route in Europe, Myrtle Cottage was a Georgian house built in 1792 when the area was orchards and open fields. The old print works was built in the 19th century to make print transfers for bicycles and later for British Leyland vehicles. On the street, the garden has expanded with planters and an oasis of wildflowers which replaced car parking. And in summer, tables and customers from the Mix Cafe appear on the street. Myrtle Cottage is the oldest building in Balsall Heath. Sheltered from the main road by a large privet hedge, the original garden had long ago been replaced with concrete. Planters made from recycled wooden pallets were constructed to create a secret flower garden. Organic garden and kitchen waste is used to create compost and soil, and rainwater has been diverted to water the flowers. The Balsall Heath Pocket Park opened in 2016 at the junction of Hayden Way and Moseley Road. It is one of 3 small pocket parks reclaimed from odd corners of urban spaces. The local architect, Joe HOLLYHOCK, created a design with brick paving. 2 large wooden boxes have been planted with low-maintenance flowers. It is conceived as an embryonic town square for Balsall Heath and is one of the few public places for people to sit and rest. The landscaping was organised by the social enterprise, the Jericho Foundation. The Balsall Heath City Farm was opened in 1980 and is celebrating its 40th anniversary in 2020. It is a valued community asset which encourages children, families and educational visits to see the 50 animals that live on the farm. There is a history of planting flower boxes in the area, with over 100 planters created by the Balsall Heath Forum and maintained by individuals in the community. The Wesleyan Holiness Church is a good example of community activity and regreening the environment. With a 10-metre flower garden fronting onto the street. Friends of 7 Streets Pocket Park started a garden in February 2020, working with local schools with activities and growing plants. They aim to develop ownership and participation in local spaces to improve the environment. Gardening in urban spaces has its problems, but hope and enthusiasm are essential to make things grow. So what is a community garden? The Bee Garden is supported by Balsall Heath is Our Planet, which is a community initiative to empower the residents of Balsall Heath to improve the environment and create an eco-neighbourhood. So what is an eco-neighbourhood? It's a neighbourhood that It considers climate change as a priority. It encourages walking and cycling in favour of driving cars. And it's a general re-greening of the streets where we live. It also is a nod to the atelier populaire of the 1960s and international activism which encouraged the people to take responsibility for their environment. The Bee Garden is a community garden that started 3 years ago in the car park of the old Printworks Artist Studios. In that time, we have created a garden bringing in soil, pots, and over 50 varieties of flowers, herbs, and vegetables, as well as a structure of boxes and planters made from recycled materials. It is a garden for the community who work in the artist studios, as well as for bees and for poets. The garden is called the Bee and Poet Garden, bees being known for their fondness for poetry. Poems are placed around the garden. A haiku by the 17th century Japanese poet Basho, and the 20th century poet and gardener Elizabeth Lawrence. Wooden Christmas trees display the names of trees as a form of concrete poetry, suggesting a conceptual forest that may have once grown here. A series of British plant names play with the connection between words, ideas and thoughts. Love-in-Idleness is another name for the wild pansy, and the word pansy derives from the French word penser, or thought. And a quote from the 18th century French philosophe Voltaire reminds us we must cultivate our garden. So what happens in the bee garden? The garden grows around 50 types of flowers, herbs and vegetables. And even decorative weeds have their place. It is an organic garden, encouraging a symbiotic relationship between elements of nature. We don't use chemicals to kill weeds or insects or mollusks. Rain is saved to water the garden. Compost is made from kitchen and garden waste. So what do you need to grow flowers? It's quite simple. You need some basics. Tools, a fork and spade, gloves, pots, seed trays and planters, and seeds, bulbs or cuttings. The garden also needs sun, water and soil. And most importantly, you need to care for your garden with love. The Bee Garden aims to improve the life of an inner city neighbourhood. To improve the environment, the garden practices some organic methods. It diverts rainwater, it recycles materials, and saves seeds to exchange with other gardeners. The aim is to create an eco-neighbourhood and be an important part of the community.